I know it's been like a few weeks since technically 2026 kicked off, but I found this tag and it just seemed really fun and a great transition to talk about things from 2025 and going into 2026. Hello friends! Happy Friday! So very excited that you're here. I was really undecided for today's video. I've mentioned several times, I think in a few different videos, I've been reading Lovecom and I'm a little over halfway and I was like, well, I really don't want to dive into anything else new. I've got so much I need to dive into though, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, I don't really want to dive into anything. I want to finish this series first and then, transition into other things that I had also wanted to read this year, especially since I wanted to do a manga that my Patreon and channel members voted for. I'm hoping next Friday. I'm like, regardless if I am finished with Lovecom, I really want to dive into that because that series is so wholesome and so sweet. So yeah, I found this tag online. It seemed fun. I'll leave a link here to the creator I found. I don't think she's the original creator of this tag. I'm not very sure because I found other people who did the tag before her, but she was the one I came across. So yeah, I'll just leave that linked in the corner and also leave the questions down below. And if you want to join the tag, you're more than welcome. I don't plan to tag anybody or anything like that, but there's 18 questions and we'll go ahead and start with number 1. How many books are you planning on reading in 2026? I don't set a reading goal per like, I'm going to read X amount of books. If I had to say a number, probably 300 because I've at least read that amount each year. So that seems like an okay number to say, but otherwise I don't participate really in like reading yearly reading challenges. I'll do monthly, sometimes weekly, but never like a big overarching year because I'm like, I don't want reading to feel like a chore ever. Number 2, a book you're likely to reread this year. Several. We'll actually talk more about this in a moment, so I'm not going to say any more, but just know there are several. Number 3, a priority read on your 2026 TBR. I had to really think about this one. I'm very, very conflicted on this one. I really don't know. I think I eventually wrote, may I ask for one final thing? The physical manga, I have been reading it digitally, and even though I would have already reread that content, if you saw my video 2 Fridays ago talking about what my top 12 favorite reads were of 2025, then you will know that May I Ask for One Final Thing did really well in like my reading bracket. So that was the one that came to mind. I'm like, I feel I have a lot of priority reads, so I really didn't know how to really answer that, but I'm happy with that. For number 4, an author you won't be reading more books from this year. I don't really feel like I have a list of creators I will absolutely not read. There may be series that I won't read by that creator, but I feel like unless I've read like 2 or 3 plus series from that creator, then maybe I'd be like, I absolutely refuse to try anything by them, but I have not experienced that. Can't really say I have one. I more will just go, if the series sounds interesting, then I'll check it out. It doesn't always come down to who the creator is. I mean, sometimes it does. I think there's like a question about that, but ultimately it's just, if it sounds good, it sounds good and I want to try it. Number 5, something new you want to read. Too many things. There's so many great things coming out this year. I think it's like June or July. Dude, my pre-order list of things I want to pick up is like overwhelming. I've tried narrowing it down and it ain't working. So I'm cutting from other months to make room for that one. But I guess you could say as of right now, Baroness goes on strike. It recently just released this past week and I keep seeing stuff about it. I had pre-ordered it like with the limited edition. And then ultimately I decided to cancel my pre-order because there was a May I Ask for One Final Thing pen of Scarlet that I really, really want. And I know that this pen maker has a little bit more pricey pens. So I was trying to make room in my budget, but been really struggling if that was the right thing to do because I've been seeing all of the hype for it. Haven't seen a lot of people actually read it, but the quality of the manhwa looks really good. Let's say that's something I really want to read and hoping that I can and that my library will get it. Like I have tried it, I will say digitally, but I'd rather read it physically. For number 6, a popular book you want to read. I was stumped on this one. I literally, before filming this video, I decided to go with Nina the Starry Bride. That's more because I know a lot of people want me to read the series. I don't know if I would come back to it on my own. I mean, I keep up with spoilers just because I'm curious of how the end game, the love triangle, I'm very curious about that. But yeah, that's one that I think I would like to read this year because I have told at least 2 friends, 2 people on here as well that I would genuinely like to give it a shot, because I know several people were very bummed that last year it did not win my event. I think it was in the top 5 most voted for, and unfortunately, yeah, it didn't make the top 3 because I only reviewed the top 3 series, and I cannot remember if it was nominated for my event this year. I don't remember, but I know my library definitely has volumes of it, so I can, and Manga as well, because I think that's where originally where I did. No, I had the first volume digitally, and then I read ahead on Manga. Number 7, most anticipated 2026 book release. I'm just gonna say, go check out this video here. I did my top 10 most anticipated. I'm sure it will change as it goes on, because what we've already had a very exciting manga license win for the Shijose community, I feel like, from Kodansha. We talked about it on Monday. If you'd like to check it out in my manga news video, it was a rainy day serenade, so that would be added on there. But for last year, things that came out or that had gotten licensed, excuse me, yeah, I talked about my top 10. Number 8, a bookish goal for 2026. I think I have talked about this in passing. I did talk about it in depth with Patreon channel members. I'll put the image here that I would like to reread or read the bottom titles for the very first time. I have a few series on my shelf that I've read to completion, but I've never done a video review, and that's one thing that's important to me personally, is I like having video reviews of the series on my shelf. Some series I can't, because say it's only like 2 volumes, it's ongoing, but for example, The Remarried Empress. I read that almost weekly. I love that series so incredibly much, but I'm like, I don't have a video review of it, so I would like to do one of that one. Same as Yu Satoki Rhetoric. I would like to reread these series. My goal is just to do 12 rereads and then hopefully film 12 videos, though there's definitely more than that, but that is at least one of my ultimate bookish goals for this year. Number 9, a book that's been on your TBR you probably won't ever read. Y'all, this question is a no-go. Absolutely not. If I'm buying it and then don't read it, then I don't need to buy it. Absolutely not. Like, I am not one of those people that just buys books and then lets it sit on the shelf. In fact, I have a separate mini bookcase next to my desk that has all the things I have not read. There's nothing on these shelves I'm pretty confident that I have not read, because I refuse to put it away. A friend gave me advice to sort of help tackle my TBR that was sort of out of control about 2 years ago. She's like, hey, I don't put them away till I read them. And that has been instrumental, a game changer for me. So yeah, if I'm buying, I'm reading. I admire people who can buy things like, oh, I'll just probably stay on my TBR. Like, y'all are awesome, y'all rock, and I admire you for being able to do that, because I cannot. I cannot. Number 10, a series you want to read this year. I shared in that graphic already of what I would like to read, but I guess, well, reread. And the ones that were on there that come to mind was Dankin' Daisy, because some friends were so generous, got like half the series for me, and then I found 5 or 6 volumes used. I think I'm only missing volume 10 and 11 at this point, but I accept I'm just going to buy it digital, because I still have not found any good online prices for physical volumes. Full Moon, because I was gifted by my Secret Santa last year a copy of volume 1, and I've really debated getting the rest of the series, because what, it's only like 7 or 8 volumes. And also a friend was so generous and gifted me The Young Master's Revenge. I really want to read that one. I found out they're the same creator as Tepeki Honeymoon, and that manga has been hilarious. So those are the 3 for sure that I know I do want to read in 2026. For number 11, your auto-buy authors going into 2026. I don't really have auto-buy authors. Now, I sort of feel, though, to answer the question, the creator of High School Debut in my love story, I like to start Brighter Than the Sun, but I have accepted that I'm going to be reading that like volumes from the library. I love the characters, but the slow burn is very slow burn, and I don't want to buy volumes of it and then not read it, and so the library has thankfully gotten all of the newest volumes. That creator I do feel is an auto-buy for me. Yosaki Saka, for sure. Like, I think she was like the very first one, and then probably anything by the creator of Kimi ni Todoke, because I do feel like that is one of the most reread series in my collection, in the sense of oftentimes I've rearranged my manga and then I just randomly flip through a volume and read it. I really love that creator's work. I'm very much hoping that we get her ongoing series that's currently serializing in Japan. Like, please, like, you know you want to, Viz Media. You know that you do. But outside of those 3, I really feel like those would be the only 3 that I'm like, yes, anything you write, I will try. Doesn't matter the genre, doesn't matter how old it is. I'm here, I'm seated for anything that you will give us. Number 12, a book to show adaptation you're excited about this year. There's several, and I'm going to say anime instead of a show, though I am an Internet Villainess. That is going to be coming out in April, and I'm very, very excited. It looks fantastic. I love this manga. I have a video review. I I read it last February and it was just such a gem, such a delight. It's been amazing. And I have the latest volume on my shelf and I still haven't read it. And I guess if we want to say an actual show, that would be like, I guess like a K-drama, or maybe, I don't know, it wouldn't be a K-drama. It's a live action. But The Remarried Empress, because let me tell you, I saw the actors and the actresses and they were just truly had the vibe and the aura of these characters. The emperor, like the actor that's playing him, I was like, I already don't like you. And that's a compliment, okay? Because I really felt like he was in role. I mean, I'm sure he's a great person, great human being, but that particular character, oh, cannot stand, period. I feel like that's probably going to be one of my first live actions in a really long time that felt genuine excitement. I heard it's going to be on Disney Plus. I will come for you, buddy, because I need to watch my faves on screen. Everybody looks really fantastic. So those are the two that come to mind. Number 13, a sequel you're anticipating, Way Too Many, Mechanical Marie, The Failure at God School, edition called Love, though I have the latest volume on my shelf and I'm in denial. My Girlfriend's Child right here. I mean, there's, oh yes, Recreating a Mafia Dating Sim, Always a Catch. There's too many. There's too many. Number 14, bookish things you're leaving in 2026. I really like this question. And one thing I've really been thinking about for me personally is I feel like increasing, I'd say probably in the last year, I feel like more people are reading their manga collections, which I think is great. But there has been this increased pressure, I feel like, pure pressure to, you need to read everything you own. And at one point, I had read everything that I own, and it was not, I had the wrong motivations because I was like, man, I'm gonna flex about this, and I did it, and I'm like, well, this isn't the flex I thought it would be. And I didn't actually really end up telling anybody like, hey, I read, I mean, I think I told my Patreon channel members, but like publicly, I did not celebrate or blast it. But that brings me to say is I'm behind currently on my physical TBR because I've been focusing on reading LoveCom, which I'm checking out from the library. And I want to get back to forget the peer pressure and just the pressure or expectation from society of like, you need to read everything you own. I want to read what I own for myself, not for anybody else, not for me to have these motivations to flex on anybody. Like, no, like, Laura, get out of there with that. No, I want to do it for me because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel better that when I look at my shelves here, I'm like, oh, I've read that. And then if, you know, I guess if I read it and I didn't love it, that I can, I guess, you know, unhaul it. But it makes me feel better having the proper motivations. And I guess that's what I want. And I guess that's what I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind the pressure and do it for me, not because I'm seeing a bunch of other people do it or feel like they're expecting me to do it. Number 15, what to expect from this account. Fangirling. I mean, that won't ever change, hopefully. I love fangirling so much with you guys. I'm incredibly thankful that you guys come and listen to me yap about my favorite series, about my favorite characters, especially if you're like, well, that's not really my favorite, but I'm willing to hear you share. It truly means so much. When it comes to, I guess, videos, I don't really know. I really enjoyed last year when I asked for my, goodness, was it my 5-year anniversary on MangaTube? But I did a forum asking you guys like, hey, what's something you would love to see on my channel? And I remember somebody suggesting themed videos. And at the time, I thought my top 5 Wednesday videos were sort of like themes. I mean, I guess for that video, but I sort of started transitioning into month-long theme videos. That sort of ultimately led to me doing my Villainous event last year, where everything, the quizzes, the reviews, the top 5 Wednesday videos were purely dedicated to Villainous manga and manhwa. And I had a blast. We also did like a retro manga video series. I didn't review though any retro manga at that time, and I didn't do the quizzes because I was just sort of starting to introduce it and see how I liked it. And when it's come to planning things, I really have enjoyed it a lot. Like next month, I'm wanting to focus on a certain magazine, wanting to do video reviews of it. I don't know if I could do quizzes. I've got to see what manga I have to be able to do that. But yeah, some quizzes, definitely, or especially the top 5 Wednesday videos. So I feel that is something I would like to continue this year. I definitely would continue to like to do the first impression videos. It's been very odd, honestly, for me to have not done a first impression video, and I'm not even going to be having one next Friday like I had originally had planned because I changed up my Friday schedules or Friday videos. And then even next month, I don't think I'm going to be having a first impression video either, but I've got something coming in March where it will be more focused on newer manga. I would love, love, love to do more live streams like we did with the Owner of the Dawn confirming in the magazine. I really, really enjoyed doing that a lot. I feel more confident now that I have better internet because we were having issues and I had to upgrade, got a free upgrade thankfully, that I would love to do that, but time-wise, I just don't know how to make it work right now. So that's something I'm not planning to do in 2026, but I still want to continue to do the video reviews because I love them very much, and it's been actually really cool sometimes to see, like with Talmon's B-side, that it got very popular because of the anime, and the shoujo quiz has done sort of blew up, I felt like. I mean, I don't know how much because I try and avoid looking at numbers, but it was in my top 3 most watched video in the course of 48 hours for several days, and I was like, oh, okay, people are finding it, so that was pretty cool. I think outside of that, I'm pretty confident that I'll be continuing to do the shoujo quizzes because I really have enjoyed the interaction with you all of having the weekly polls, and I've thought about, well, maybe there's something else you guys could vote on weekly, but I just haven't found anything else. So for now, I'm going to be sticking with that, and I'm pretty sure that's everything that's coming to mind when it comes to what to expect from this account this year. Number 16, how has your reading taste evolved from last year? I don't feel like it's evolved too much, but I have tried more things that I probably wouldn't try. I don't think My Girlfriend's Child debuted last year, but I feel like this one, Reliving My Life with a Boyfriend Who Doesn't Remember Me, even like Snow Angel, which I have a first impression of, I mean, that was voted for, but I feel like I've tried more series that are not my usual go-tos. I love my shoujo fluff so much. Love my happy reads, the happier the better kind of thing. But ever since I feel like I tried Queen's Quality 2 years ago because you guys voted for it and I did a video review and it completely wrecked me, but like in the best of ways, like I have found personal healing and breakthroughs thanks to that manga. I am eternally grateful that I have read it and how it has impacted and changed my life in such significant ways. Maybe not outwardly, but the way I thought about myself, the way I viewed things concerning like childhood trauma and just trauma in general has been truly incredible for my life and for myself. So I feel like I just have tried to be more open-minded. When somebody had asked if I could do like a top 5 Wednesday video on, I think it was supernatural reads, that was really pushing it for myself, but I found that I really enjoyed it. Like I tried last quarter and it was awesome. It was fantastic. One of the best reads that I read in 2025. Maybe not a favorite, so I didn't make my top 12 favorites, but it's one that vividly stands out in my mind of like, this was one of the best things I read in 2025. I think that I would like to continue that this year, of willing to push myself to try things that maybe seem more melancholy or more giving you sobs, making you cry, because past me several years ago would be like, that's a bad book. And I wouldn't want to try a bad book because a bad book in my mind was not the writing, not the characters or the storytelling. It was the emotional impact it had on me of making me cry, because I don't like crying when I'm reading. I mean, now there's series like My Girlfriend's Child, again, I know I keep referencing that, but it is very outside of the norm for my reading taste. And I'm still surprised that I could like series like that and Queen's Quality, because again, it's just not a go-to for me, not something that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this right away. I guess you could just say I have seen subtle changes in my reading taste in the sense of being willing to try things that maybe I wouldn't have gravitated towards in the first place. Number 17, booktube creators who inspire you. I'm going to change this to manga tubers, and I'm going to say Maddie. I don't know what her full YouTube channel is, but Maddie has some really, I don't watch usually her Japanese challenge videos, but I think she is such a resourceful channel, and even on Instagram and Twitter, because she will give these like, hey, let's try reading this in Japanese. And I know she had like a video in Japanese, which I watched because I was very curious, but I just think she has such helpful ways if you're trying to learn Japanese or interested in just, you know, sometimes they say just listening to a language that you're trying to learn can be very helpful, and she definitely has that. She has really fun taste, and I enjoy seeing her talk about manga. I just watched one of her videos this morning actually, and it was great. So I've really enjoyed her stuff. Shay Geeks Out, I've talked about in my 5-year anniversary MangaTube video that I did, that if it wasn't for Shay, I probably would not have become a manga tuber. I've deeply enjoyed her content. She has like a mashup of MangaTube and booktube booktube, and I find I enjoy both of her videos on in both circles, I guess you would say. I don't really read novels like that anymore, but it's still very fun to see her grow as a creator, and I resonate with many of the series that she's shared, like Sacrificial Princess. I actually tried because of her. So that was really cool. So yeah, and I've got another series because of her as well, but that one just stands out in my mind right now. But yeah, very inspired by her channel. Also Colleen, they have such an informative channel, and I honestly think maybe that's why I gave My Girlfriend's Child a chance, was because they had filmed a video about it and it was really great. And I also feel they were instrumental because I mentioned them in that same video with Shay. They really helped me to see the importance of shoujo manga and actively celebrating and supporting and reading it, because I really, yes, I liked shoujo manga, but I didn't get into shoujo manga first. Like I mean, Library Wars is shoujo, but I didn't even know like that Kimi Totokei and Beauty Pop and Library Wars, the first 3 manga that I read, that these were shoujo. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I just knew there was a difference when I picked up Kimi Totokei and when I tried reading One Punch Man. There was difference in the storytelling, and I really didn't know what it was. So I do feel like their videos have helped me a lot in the beginning to be like, hey, yeah, I love shoujo manga and I love other demographics as well, but shoujo manga has my heart. It's where I focus and put my time and my money to, because it makes me the happiest. And last but not least, number 18, something you want to say to anyone wanting to start a bookish account. Consistency, consistency, consistency. One of the hardest things to nail about a bookish account, in my opinion. Find a schedule, lock into it, and continue to do that schedule. Not only that, but find things you are passionate for. When I was first starting out in MangaTube, my channel was not doing that well. I focused on reviews, and during that time, I was told by at least 3 people that, hey, you need to go do manga hauls because your channel is not going to be successful if you're not filming them. That lit a fire under me a little bit. I was like, I will set out to prove you wrong, which is not the best motivations. I mean, I love filming them, but it gave me extra energy, focus to be like, okay, you're telling me this? Well, I'm just gonna keep doing what I love doing. When I look at my videos, I feel happy. Filming videos, talking about manga in general, like Top 5 Wednesday, doing these quizzes, it brings me great joy. And if you're feeling joy from the content that you're posting, you are 10 times more likely to stay consistent, because you're like, oh, this makes me happy doing. I want to keep doing it, compared to if people are saying, hey, you need to be doing unboxing videos or manga hauls or some other kind of reel, short, or video that they say will pop off. No, do what makes you happy. Yes, sometimes you have to maybe weave that in, but if that's not what makes you ultimately happy, then it's just not worth it, in my opinion. Like when I film these videos, I go in first from the mindset before anybody else. Does it make me happy to sit down and film this video? If I feel even an inkling of not excitement, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it, because I want to be happy first, greater than whatever anybody else is telling me that I need to do. So I feel like that goes in hand with being consistent, because I thrive being consistent personally. When I'm not, when it comes to my channels, it really derails me. So I put that higher and prioritize that in my life when it comes to my channel, because the schedule helps me to stay consistent. So, but yeah, even greater than that is film, post what makes you happy. And hopefully you heard some happy things overall in this video and then you enjoyed watching it. I feel, again, this was just personally something great for me that I'm like, okay, I'm ready for 2026, ready to dive into the many fun things that I've planned for you. I think it's going to be a really exciting year, and I truly hope that you look forward to it. But let me know, do you have any goals for this year, whether it's related to books or personal life or anything like that? If you have a, you're a content creator, what are you hoping to maybe continue to bring into 2026? What you want to leave behind, or any of those? I would love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!